Wuhan, Wuhan rules everything around us. Dollar, dollar bills, yo, holla. Wuhan, Wuhan rules everything around us. Don't want to give it a holla because it's super fucking depressing. So I won't tap that off with a holla. Instead I'll go with my chest. Holla. Thank you very much. Is it me? Or did Mayor de Blasio look surprised as anyone slow dancing with his wife to New York, New York, in the middle of an abandoned Times Square, all by themselves, when deep down, you know, his wife prefers her number one playlist selection on constant repeat, Fuck the Police, especially after her husband allowed Colin Kaepernick to visit inmates in Rikers Island so his biracial son Dante could have mucho social justice bragging rights for Christmas / Kwanzaa. Holla! Thank you very much! Did you know Mayor de Blasio's wife used to be a hardcore Park Slope lesbo? Yet we're supposed to believe garlic breath converted her? He eats pizza. His honor. In case you're not keeping up with me, Burbrain, Mayor de Blasio, eats pizza with a fork and knife. So I have a hard time picturing Burbrain burying his beak into his wife's natty snatch with such sloppy, reckless abandon. Mask on or not. Holla. Thank you very much! How awkward was His Honor's slow dance with his wife's natty, tangled up, terrifyingly wretched snatch? I could only imagine. How awkward was the slow dance to New York, New York? Why not throw whatever happened to the Jay-Z Rihanna anthem? That wasn't whatever happened to Beyonce's Song Royalties Matter. Holla. Thank you very much. I don't think Beyonce was in that song, but I don't care. Because looting Gucci ain't a thing but a reparations thing. Holla. Thank you very much. All lives matter is a new N-word. Holla. Thank you very much. Again, how awkward was the slow dance to New York, New York by Frank Sinatra between Burbrain de Blasio and his Park Slope lesbo wife of yesteryear, allegedly. Even Andy Cohen questioned the extent of his homosexuality for a change. Holla. Thank you very much. Also, Mia Farrow told Vanity Fair not too long ago, she planted the idea that Frank Sinatra was Ronan Farrow's father, not Woody. And if that's true, then why the fuck hasn't Ronan Farrow hired a goon from Hoboken to knock Woody on his ass yet? Holla! Thank you very much! I'm being harsh on Woody, I know. He used to pal around with Jeffrey Epstein. He was caught keeping naked Polaroids of a 9-year-old adopted Sunyi. The only thing missing from his picture stash was Sunyi crying on the cover of Time Life magazine. Holla, you can only hope to contain him because he's on fuego. Holla, thank you very much. Would Andy Cohen find this joke offensive? I like to think that he's a reasonable soul. Michelle Obama, not too long ago, said that it's racist to flee from the south side of Chicago, the most violent, concentrated hellhole on earth. Well, I mean, it's in high ranking for top hellholes on earth. And Michelle Obama, Miss Unity herself, says it's racist to flee from the south side of Chicago. Michelle Obama acts like the south side of Chicago is one crep food truck away from gentrification. Liberal talk for less colored. Holla. Thank you very much. Lisa Lampanelli lives. Her funny part, since she got the gastro whatever and looks like a semi-funny, overrated hack pumped up on crystal meth. Holla. Thank you very much. Lisa Lampanelli's material during the roast, they don't age as well. Geraldo's still great. I mean, they're smart, but she comes across as overtly hacky compared to Ross, Geraldo, and the great Nick Lick My European Nuts DiPaolo. For what it's worth. Which reminds me, not too long ago, I was driving by the new Yankee Stadium and with my daughter, and I pointed out the new Yankee Stadium, and I said, "Hey, Matilda, look, the new Yankee Stadium, the house that gentrification built." But yeah, so Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen is watching Bill de Blasio slow dance with his wife with the mask on, and Andy Cohen is questioning the severity of his homosexuality, chosen path, self-inflicted disease. Holla, obviously busting balls. He lives in the Hamptons and he dines with Yentabra Seinfeld, so he has to be all right. You take offense? Go woke yourself. Holla, thank you very much. But after watching this forced image of intimacy, similar to when like Al Gore like tumbled over to his whale of a wife not too long ago. Very similar to that moment. You got the distinct impression that de Blasio, similar to Al Gore, initiates less contact with his wife than the NYPD these days, who let her $1 billion mental health reform budget go up in smoke by the time their son Dante could hide another joint in his afro whenever he was being racially profiled as a less talented, acne scar-free Questlove. Holla! Thank you very much! Could have the scene in Times Square on New Year's Eve for 2020 have looked any more depressing on the big screen? All of a sudden, Times Square looked more deserted than Trump's cheering section at Fox News. But we can still trust Mayor de Blasio's tweets, right? New York will reemerge stronger than ever. Yeah, and Mike Pence is on a mission from God to decertify the most fraudulent election in our nation's history. New York will come back stronger than ever. Sure. And Mike Pence ignores his wife's nagging texts whenever he blows off some steam with Hunter Biden at the strip club, only hearing last call from the bathroom stall, knocking up strippers left and right, pregnant with possibility to be invited to Biden's Rehoboth beach pad for another whitewash Christmas. Can I get a holla for A+ studded hilarity from start to finish? And let's jerk off my killer flow just one more time. Holla! Thank you very much! When the boss, Bruce Springsteen, the only person back in the day that I told my children that they can call the boss with unquestioned authority. That was pre-COVID, pre-woke Bruce. Pre-Obama ruining everything. Pre-Bruce campaigning for Hillary Hammertime Cankles. Before I see Hillary take not one but 5 times to get a Metro card to work for a failed photo op of biblical proportions, to do her best to show what common touch she has with the working man like De Niro in the Bronx Tale. And by swipe number 5, Homo Liquor Breath mutters to herself while doing her best not to expose others in a near vicinity with their stank cake bread cellar Chardonnay breath, regardless of how fucking expensive it is. And Hillary says to herself, get it together, bitch. Black people are watching. You can do it! Holla! And make sure you call them black people, not super predators. Holla! Thank you very much! I remember a long time ago, like Hillary, what was her excuse? What was her excuse again for all those deleted emails? The 30,000 deleted emails? Oh, yeah. She said most of them were yoga related, which is a stretch. And I think she said that the other half just detailed funeral arrangements in the woods in case Chelsea's fiance decided to increase his asking price at the last second while walking down the aisle. Holla! Thank you very much! Wife says, you can't make fun of Chelsea Clinton. It's sexist. I said, babe, but she's not even ugly anymore. Plus, I think Alyssa Milano and Chelsea Handler are divisive twats on Twitter, too. But we have to trust Mayor de Blasio's tweets. Do you remember when Trump got inaugurated 4 years ago and all the lights went out in Manhattan for a bit, in particular the Empire State Building? Like the lights just went out. And I'm positive at the time de Blasio thought to himself, looks like I forgot to pay the Con Ed bill on time again. Holla! Thank you very much! But when Bruce Springsteen, the boss, reminded me of another story. I got my TV writing break at VH1 Classic, at Viacom, corporate, to express my gratitude to my producer boss. And he was from Jersey. I made him a Bruce mix to crack the ice because I sensed some surging tension. Because usually grown men that are allegedly heterosexual don't give other grown men mixes ever. And before I gave my producer boss, responsible for my TV writing break, 13 years in the making, I gave it to my producer boss, and I said, this doesn't mean I have a crush on you, boss. Holla! Thank you very much! Carmine's, great restaurant off of Times Square. Their Meatball Hero is the best. I read about it in Time Out magazine ages ago. And their cheesesteak is the freaking bomb. I used to go there with this girl, Holly. Holly was great. She's married now. Most likely doesn't listen to this podcast, but Holly was great. She helped me develop this bit. I talk about this in the Great American Jew novel, where she was a junior recruiter. I was already like a jaded, burnt out recruiter at this point. I was working downtown 39 Broadway. And I felt so enlightened and empowered. I wrote an Always Sunny in Philadelphia script. It took literally like 15 years ago. Now it's surpassing Ozzie and Harriet as the longest running TV show, comedy sitcom of all time. God bless them because they're great. The freaking geniuses, everyone involved in that show. And Danny DeVito is the best secret weapon of all time. But the point is that I thought, because I had these bosses that were from France, so they were never there. So I literally used my own office that was not my own personal office, but my work office. I was paying me a salary, a pretty hefty salary for a recruiter back then. And I was using their fax machine their Xerox machine to make copies. And bombard Holly with more unsolicited, unasked for spec scripts. Obviously not learning my lesson. But along the way, Holly, I had this bit about seeing eye dogs. And I said, do you think blind men ever get the beer goggles? Assuming they do. Does a seeing eye dog ever offer a second opinion? And then Holly encouraged me to develop this act out, which I'll do right now. So let's start the joke over again. I say, do blind men ever get the beer goggles? Assuming they do, does the seeing eye dog ever offer a second opinion? And then I get on all fours and say, I think we better pass in this one, Stevie. You could feel her face, but I could smell her snatch. Woof, woof, holla, thank you very much. Holly, great laugh. Her friends were so hot. They were all banging like baseball players. She had the most like titillating like Facebook feed of all time. But she's just a very sweet girl. She was raised right. So God bless Holly. And she was a great cheesesteak meatball parm partner. We would like do splitsies. So I will stop clamoring for Holly. But she was great. She's definitely making her husband happy long time. But let's get back to the subject of the debacle of Times Square and Viacom. And Bruce Springsteen. So Bruce Springsteen, I bet, was watching that dancing horror show between de Blasio and his natty snatch wife, whoever the fuck her name is, unfold. So he's watching this entire horror show unfold at his Jersey estate home, thinking to himself, dancing into a very dark winter has a nice ring to it too. Holla! Thank you very much! Will Weird Al write a new song parody? Inspired by that New Year's Eve horror show? Will he call it Tourist-Free Traffic? Meanwhile, Wuhan was bumping on New Year's Eve, bringing on the ruckus. You'd think Wu-Tang performed their auction-off hidden record for free to fuck over some unlucky Persian from Beverly Hills that blew all the money on in the first place. Because he's already enough Johnny Walker Blue to last him 5 more centuries after China takes over the universe forever. But you would think Wu-Tang performed their auction-off hidden record for free to curry favor with their Chinese overlords in downtown Wuhan, who for the time being seem to rule everything around us. Dollar bills, y'all. Wuhan! Wuhan! But I'm the asshole who gets banned from Twitter for claiming the Chinese have resisted biochemical warfare investigations more than Aquafresh. And if things couldn't get any worse, in New York City on New Year's Eve, the place of my birth and TV writing break, at VH1 Classic, at Viacom Corporate in Times Square, I have to see Jill Biden and little girl hair sniffer Joe lecture us on the importance of taking the vaccine on the freaking Jumbotron for the safety of mankind, despite the 99% survival rate from contracting the Chinese-made black lung, despite me smoking the sticky, icky green from a metal bat for 3 decades straight, and my lungs feel great. Dice lives. Holla! Thank you very much! My old friend, Gerard, friend of a friend, my dear old friend JT from Ithaca, otherwise known as Cornell's retarded next door neighbor. But I was in the school of communication, so I could smoke the outdoor through a bong and not manage to stutter every other 2 seconds. But my old friend Gerard, who I met through my dear old friend JT, who I met in Hermosa Beach, didn't survive past 35 because of cancer. Still, sweet Gerard organized a trip like 15 years ago to the Marriott Marquis off Times Square for New Year's Eve in 2005 in a pre-woke, pre-social media fuel time because he was the smartest, chillest, coolest, stablest hick from Indiana, not named Larry the Legend of all time, who exuded nothing but pure good lay soul shine, who shouldn't have had to die so young for this shit show of biblical proportions. The Kraken can't come soon enough. Where have you gone, Mort Saul? Where have you gone, Mort Saul? Why does your name have to be so Jewy? I gotta trip over it. I drop Yiddish. I read Yiddish words to my kids nonstop, and I have to trip over fucking Mort Saul. It's a brutal name. How do you make in showbiz? I can't even get a fucking agent to read my books because I'm pro-Trumpian. You had a very long, illustrious career with a name like Mort Saul. His career ended prematurely because he was obsessed with the Kennedy investigation, assassination. Again, got to start with the Purple Onion in San Francisco back in the day. He inspired Woody Allen. He would read from his newspaper. And he would do topical political material, pre-Bill Maher. And by the way, so Bill Maher, patronizing, demeaning a Latino Republican on Real Time. So, and the Latino Republican says, the wall's symbolic, Bill. And Bill says, I thought don't Latino Republicans just skip their pothead Santana phase in college altogether? Holla! Thank you very much! But again, where have you gone, Mort Saul? Care to comment? He loved California. He would dump on New York like Randy Newman. Call it the standard overrated concrete jungle laden overheated hellhole. So, but they're not from here, so they can go look themselves, and they don't know the real special alive power that New York has embedded in its DNA. That's unmatchable. That de Blasio has done everything in his power to expunge in one swoop. But again, Mort Saul. Care to comment on the concrete jungle? Endless open call for last call to the freaking wee hours of the night, to the birds chirping. Care to comment, Mort Saul, on the concrete jungle? Endlessly joyous. Every type of woman imaginable, your freaking fingertips, Wonderland of Manhattan. Care to comment on the concrete jungle wonderland of Manhattan of yesteryear? Mort Saul that de Blasio has destroyed faster than a speeding bullet on a freight train on crystal meth to hell. Okay, Mort Saul wouldn't be that harsh on de Blasio. So, I will for him. Again, Woody Allen is Mort Saul's texting buddy these days too, according to Vanity Fair. Forgot about it. Which reminds me, after my daughter was born, my first moral parenting stance was insisting that my daughter only watch Woody Allen films that came out pre-Sony. And I also made a decision to insist that my daughter only listen to Michael Jackson songs that came out pre-Jackson 5. At least then my curated pedophile entertainment offering stance was more black and white. And if Michael Jackson were alive today, how would he defend himself against all of his Neverland accusers? What would he say? All the Beatles royalty points in the world can't buy me love? This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad friendly entertainment for you and me. Obviously. What Gen X dads understand, obviously. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My three fuss-free kids, 98% of the time, are living proof of it. Happy birthday, Archer USA. He's my birthday week boy. He turned 7. You're all grown up and you're all grown up. And he's the only kid in the freaking universe that is actually more handsome with his upper row of teeth being gone. Enjoy your Saturday night and the rest of your weekend. God, don't strike me down for lightning for working my day of rest. That horror show in Times Square produced such strong bile. I had to extrapolate some comedy for my fellow New Yorkers so they have some freaking fucking peace of mind heading into the new year. I love all my fans, old and new, and I'll talk to you guys soon.